You're having a great day. I wanted to get on here and share some client success stories and talk to you more about life coaching, about holistic nurse coaching. It dawned on me that I talk about this all the time, but if you've never experienced coaching, you have no reference for it. So, to make this more personal and to help you get an idea of what this is all about, and as we go through and I share these stories with you, I want to encourage you to think about how receiving support, whether it's through community, whether it's through mentorship, coaching, therapy, personal growth, personal development, how that could be a great tool to support you in whatever it is that you're going through and whatever it is that you're wanting to create for your life. So, one of the ways that I help clients is I help them break through from burnout. You've probably heard me talk about my own personal burnout story during the pandemic. If not, I really went through it, and it was such a huge inspiration for me to dive deeper in supporting clients with nervous system regulation and really seeing how chronic stress is such a root for so many of the medical conditions that we struggle with, and also mental conditions. So I help clients break through from burnout and reclaim their energy. One of the clients that pretty recently came to me is a mom, as many of you are. I don't know how you do it. Really, my heart goes always out to moms. I can't imagine what it is every single day to give so much, and I think a lot of times being underappreciated and getting to the end of the day and having little if not no energy for yourself. And that was really where she found herself. She's a business owner, somebody who's always putting people first. And so in our work together, it was really important that we got her body and her mind in a state of safety and a state of regulation so that it could operate, so that she could operate in a way that helped her have more energy. She was at a point of exhaustion when we started working together. Now she has a lot more energy. She became aware of how she was people pleasing and how that was also draining her energy. She has healthy boundaries, and she's really prioritizing her own well-being. Still a woman who is in service and gives a lot, but not to the point that she's depleted. She's found a way to not go from, full on green light exhaustion to having to crash and stay in bed for several days and just having absolutely nothing else to give. So that is one of the ways that I work with clients, really helping you manage and elevate your energy, get out of burnout, and live a life where you have enough energy and feel good to get through your days, enjoy yourself. Another way is to help clients align with their purpose and their values. A client that I've worked with over the last couple of years is somebody who's going through retirement. So think about if you're in a place in your life where you're going through transition and maybe you've kind of lost sight of what is important to you. What am I doing here? What's my value? I think that we all will, if we have not already, find ourselves in that place in life where we're kind of like, what is the whole point of life? And this particular client was in that place. She had been retired for a couple of years and just felt like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. What do I do now? So in our work in coaching, we really helped her connect back with her values, what matters most to her, and what is her vision? How do you want to spend your precious life, whether you're in your 30s, whether you're in your 50s, whether you're in your 70s? How do you want this lived experience to be? And I really believe that it's never too late at any age to enjoy your life, to have a purposeful life, to be in service, to make a difference, to grow, to explore, to have adventure. And so now she's really living into her purpose. She's doing a lot of fun traveling with her husband, she has a medical condition and she's really empowering herself with that and learning new ways to cook and to move and all of those things. So it's been really beautiful to be part of that journey with her. Another way that I support clients is really helping you shift and release limiting beliefs that keep you stuck. Sometimes these are so secretive, we don't even know that they're there operating, keeping us in the same pattern, same kind of relationships, same job that we don't like, same body that we're not happy with, same mental mental thoughts that are just sucking our energy and making us feel like crap. Sometimes we don't even know that there is another option. I know that's where I was at before I found coaching. I wanted to have change in my life. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to have more sense of balance, although some people will say balance is bullshit. But I wanted to not have such high highs and low lows. And I didn't know any other way. And I'm here to tell you that there is another way. We don't have to live on that hamster wheel year after year after year, decade after decade. So I really work with clients to help them get out of their own way a lot of times. And one of the ways we do that is through EFT. I had a client that I worked with, and she was a college athlete, definitely high achiever, a student, somebody who has a really high value for being in service, and she wouldn't let herself rest. And here she is in her 20s already feeling the consequence of this inability to rest. A lot of anxiety, putting on weight, found herself, dating people that she needed to get approval from. So, through emotional freedom technique, inner child work, really exploring boundaries, she was able to say, hold on, this worked for me. Up until this point in my life, it's no longer working. And give herself permission, right? You don't need me to give you permission, of course, but sometimes we need to really give ourselves permission to, in this example here, to rest and not feel guilty about it, to really truly get on a core level that our value is not associated with productivity. We have been rewarded, most of us, for good grades, for productivity. And I do believe that there's value in these things, right? And in sports and all of those things. But when our identity is so tied to it, when we're not at that high achieving level, we can be left to think like, who am I? What what good am I if I'm not making other people happy, giving to other people, being the best of the best? And that's a really deep question to come to. And I'm so grateful to be part of her journey, because it's been so cool to see how empowered she is now. Another way I work with clients is to help them stick with healthy eating and movement. You all know that I am a huge advocate of moving our bodies. And I had a client that came to me who had been in a really deep depression for quite a while and coming out on the other side of it. When we started working together, I remember this week, everybody I was seeing this week, new clients were like, I have a sugar addiction, I have a sugar addiction, I have a sugar addiction. And that is something that a lot of clients come to me sharing, is that they do have a sugar addiction. And I personally am somebody who used to have a sugar addiction. So I know what it's like to have a sugar addiction, and I also know what it's like to overcome a sugar addiction. So if that's you, I want to just remind you that you can get your power back from sugar, as crazy as that sounds. So she cleaned up her nutrition, she got moving, she built up her strength, she released over 30 pounds, and she is really empowered to make healthy decisions, and not from that place of willpower. That's something that I work with clients on, right? Willpower will only carry us so far. And so through the coaching client relationship, we really get to the root of what led us to, let's say, the unhealthy habit to begin with. We create deep foundational healing so that we don't have to rely on willpower anymore. We also use the science of habits so that we can create a healthy, sustainable lifestyle as well. I had another client come to me who, unfortunately, for her, was really going through a deep heartbreak because she found out her husband had been cheating on her. And if you've ever been cheated on, you know how horrible that is to experience that kind of betrayal. And I really feel honored to be able to walk alongside her during this hard time. And she was able to, of course, go through the grieving process that goes through when we've experienced any kind of betrayal. And you know this, if you've ever been betrayed. I think all humans pretty much will experience betrayal, whether it's in business, whether it's at work, whether it's in an intimate relationship, whether it's with family or friends. And through the practices that we work through, such as mindfulness, she was able to recognize and allow herself to experience those deep, heavy emotions that were coming up while still holding space for herself and not just reacting and lashing out and going to war essentially with her husband. And I'm really happy to report that they've been able to mend their relationship. And she's in this process really found her voice, really used this to, again, empower herself to grow, to heal some past hurts that she wasn't even aware were still lurking in the background. And that's one of the things that when we go through a really tough time, when we go through a deep heartbreak, it can bring up things from the past that maybe we thought we had healed, but maybe that are still lingering. And so I want to encourage you, if you're in that place, to use this time to really dive into the healing, right? To use this, grief can be a really beautiful gateway to deeper healing. I had another client. I'm going to give you guys 10 examples here. A client that I worked with had experienced a lot of abuse in childhood. And if you're somebody or know somebody who's been abused in childhood, it can have everlasting effects into adulthood and really shape the way we see ourselves, amongst other things. And so that was his case. He really struggled with self-confidence. He struggled with just the things of life, of staying organized, of getting to work on time, taking care of his appearance. And he felt really, really bad about himself. He just felt like he was a loser. And in our work together, one of the ways that I support clients in this holistic approach is we also, if it fits, right? Because it's really is an individual program that I work with my clients. And in his case, we incorporated a form of Japanese energy healing called Reiki and guided meditation. And so from this state of nervous system regulation, from this state of feeling calm, feeling grounded, feeling seen, feeling and being cared for, he was really able to separate himself from the traumas of his childhood. He was able to say, okay, this is what happened, but this is not who I am. I'm not the abuse that I experienced. I'm not this identity of loser that I've been carrying with myself for so many years. And I'm okay. I'm okay, and actually feel genuine self-love for himself. And it was so cool to see while we were working together from that place of feeling that self-love for himself, the difference that this made in his life. Like he set boundaries, he shifted a relationship that he was in that was not working for him. He let it go. He started going to the gym, got into excellent shape, drastically cut down his caffeine intake, lost weight, like so many things as a result of really saying, you know what, I'm not a loser. You know what, I'm not the abuse from my past. And I'm worth feeling good. I'm worth taking care of myself. And I can have a really kind, loving relationship with myself. Another woman that I worked with going through a divorce. If you've ever went through any kind of breakup, you know how hard breakups can be and all the things that could come up with that. And there's all kinds of changes. And she was with a narcissist for many, many years. And as she explained that she just really lost herself. Her life was just dedicated to this man, to making sure he was happy. And when we started working together, she was really in the state of, who am I? What's my purpose? How do I take care of me? How do I rebuild from this? And she's such a powerhouse, such a beautiful woman with such a beautiful heart. And it was like she just kept following one step after another. And she's somebody who has really strong faith. And I just saw her faith as well as the processes and the tools that coaching provided her guide her along this way. So now she's out, she's about, she's open to dating again. Her ex does not have control over her anymore. She's going to the gym. She started a business. And she's really in this next chapter, right? When we're going through transitions, there's always a next chapter. And she's embracing it. And she's really excited for what's next. Another woman came to me going through menopause. If you're a woman going through menopause, you know the changes that can come with going through menopause. And she was like, I don't understand what is going on. I'm putting on weight. I feel anxious. I've never felt anxious in my life. Like I feel like a crazy person. And my doctor just told me that I have type 2 diabetes. Help. So one of the things that we do in the coaching work together is I take you through a really in-depth holistic assessment. And in our first session together, we outline our plan together. So for her, it was really outlining how to reverse type 2 diabetes, how to release the extra weight that she'd put on, and how to really navigate these next chapter of her life, which was, transitioning into menopause, into postmenopause. And so she's somebody who really just takes action, which was really beautiful to watch. And she shifted the way she was eating. Again, another person who said, like, I feel like I'm a sugar addict. And there's some things that we could do if we're finding ourselves in a place of, oh my gosh, I'm a sugar addict, to really reverse that. It's not something that we want to take lightly. If you're eating a crap ton of sugar, I want to encourage you, don't do that. Find a way to break that habit. Take it from me, seriously, who used to joke that I was going to give myself type 2 diabetes. We don't want to have type 2 diabetes. You do not want to go there because it affects all of your organs. It affects your mind. It'll affect your quality of life over time. And it's something that you have the power to reverse, which is such a beautiful thing. So her hemoglobin A1C is already coming down. She's building muscle. Her clothes are fitting well again. And what she really liked was that she had this step-by-step plan to follow that really was created specifically just for her. A couple more people I want to tell you about that I worked with. And as we're going through this process, thinking about how might coaching, how might personal growth, mentorship, surrounding myself with a community of people that build me up, how might that really support you in the challenges that you're going through? And maybe you're like, I'm not going through any challenges. Life is great. And you have this dream. You have this, man, I really hope that I get to do this before I die. I really want to write that book, or I really want to travel to Africa, or I really want to do some mission work, or I want to start that clothing line, whatever it is. This is your message right now to do it. Don't wait any longer. A lot of times we think we got to wait for the perfect circumstances. They're not coming. Will later be a better time. Now is the best time. Get started. Just start taking action. And again, you don't have to have the whole plan mapped out. We just follow those breadcrumbs. One door opens, another door opens. We meet another person, right? Really putting that into life, right? We're such powerful creators. This precious client of mine, when we started working together, she's been in leadership for 30 plus years. And she was at a place where she realized she lost the fun in her life, the joy. And she's like, I'm a fun person, but I'm not having any fun. And I'm tired of this career. I've been here 30 years. Like, what's next? And in our work together, we do I do inner child work with quite a few of my clients. And she got really connected with that free wonder child, that free spirit again. And she began to dance again, to travel, to cook, to garden, and even rekindled the love in her. I don't remember exactly how many years, but I know they've been together about 20 years, maybe I think a little longer. Really rekindled the love with her partner, and her connecting with her joy, connecting with her fun, her creativity had a positive effect on him. And he also started to take his health more seriously, get more active. So when we do embrace our well-being, when we do something good for ourselves, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whenever we get healthier, it has a ripple effect. And that is so beautiful. And I think that is like one of the most precious gifts we can give to people, is to, that famous quote, be the change that we want to see in the world. And last but not least, I had a client who, total boss babe, running a multi-million-dollar company, on top of her game. Leadership skills up to here, somebody always in service, and had it going on. Multiple houses, all the things, right? Like, I want all that. And she just wasn't really feeling joy in life. She wasn't feeling connected to life. She was like, there's got to be more than that. There's got to be more than what I have going on. And so we really worked together to connect her deeply to her emotions, deeply to her soul. What was her soul calling for? And so she was able to shift some of the things that had been priorities to open up more space in her life so that she could have more time to do those things that brought her joy. And so now she feels like what looks really good on paper matches what's on the inside. So if you're like, yes, 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 Brittany, this sounds amazing. I really am in a place in my life where I know I need to get healthier. I know I need to take care of myself. I know that these skeletons in the closet are not going anywhere unless I do something about it, because we all know those skeletons will just keep hanging out until we process, we release, we let it go, we release the shame, and we can do that. Opens up so much more freedom, opens up so much more joy in life, deeper connection, really just an overall better quality of life. So if you're saying, yes, this sounds like me, then let's go ahead. Let's set up a time to talk. In this 45-minute session, these calls can be life-changing. How often do you have somebody just really listening to you? First of all, when we get together with friends, they want to tell us about their stuff. You might say, oh my gosh, my head's been hurting. And they're like, oh, me too, my tooth too. So in this call, it's a Discover Elevated Wellbeing call. You're going to tell me everything that you have going on. I take you through a process that's really specific to my style of coaching, as well as to really get to make sure I have a clear picture of what's going on in your life. What are you working on? What are you struggling with? What do you truly want for your life? We're going to dream together. We're going to create the vision. And I'm going to, tell you, okay, from my professional experience, I've been a nurse almost 20 years. I've been in coaching and transformational health for 12 years. This is what's going on. Okay. This is your problem. This is what is getting in your way. And this is what we do about it. There's a really simple formula, and this is how we can work together. So if you'd like to, I have the link posted here. You can set up a time to talk with me. And also, I'd love to hear from you. What is something that you have created in your life that you're excited about? What's something that you're currently working on that you're grateful for and that you're putting into the world? If you like this video, please go ahead and share. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.